the NBA like developmental league.
Okay.
They have the G League's all in Vegas now. So
Josh,
they were
NBA guy.
advertising.
Boys, you guys are getting it all tonight.
They made it
What
into
a treat.
a basketball.
What a treat.
What a treat. You get it all. You get golf, a little Las Vegas talk. But
Speaking of treats, let's talk about these treats here at D-Line.
let's go.
Was that a good segue?
That's a very good segue.
See?
That's a very good segue.
I can't wait to
I'm
host
proud of
one
you.
day.
It's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the Sode Shack tonight. On my right, Adam Markham. On my left, Bobby Reynolds. Gentlemen, how are we this evening?
Doing very well.
It's very snowy outside, Bobo.
Got to keep warm.
Yeah.
It's chilly out.
We did, told Bobo before you got here, Addy, we went sledding. I went sledding probably for the first time in a good 10 to 15 years. I haven't sledded in a very long time.
Where'd you go?
Just right out here beside the shed. There's a great little hill.
Wow.
Last time we did it, Pax was like 2, and he hated it. He was cold. He was miserable, wanted to go inside.
Loved it.
About 5 minutes afterwards. Today, loved it. We were sledding for probably 45 minutes. He actually did pretty good staying on the sled, balanced pretty well. Almost hit a tree a couple times. So
That's
part of it.
I was like, let's just bail out. Just fall to the side. He's like, what? It's like, don't worry about
there's
it. You're
no-
fine. You're good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, sledding is a great time.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Really good time.
Got the wife out here. She was working. I was like, just come out for 5 minutes and just watch him sled. And then as soon as she like, get in the sled. So I had her go down with Pax, and I went down with Pax, and
What
it
type
was
of
good.
sled are we talking? Not one of these old-fashioned
No, it was a long
with
like
the blades.
No, I used to have those growing up.
Those are scary.
Chop your
Yeah.
fingers off.
Sure.
This was just a green plastic one that was kind of long.
Those are the best, honestly.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I thought the old-fashioned ones were never very efficient.
No, they really aren't.
This is made for blacktop, not for snow.
Yeah, it's like, well, we got to make this thing so dangerous, dude.
Yeah, why is it a blade? This is for children. Yeah, so
That's true. Teaching Pax to bail out.
yeah,
Good times.
Yeah, a lot of sticks. He hit
Lessons for life
Hit a
there.
stick a couple times and fell out, but kids, they're like bouncy balls. They just bounce right back up and they're fine.
I'm still thinking about those old-fashioned sleds. Imagine just some horrific, just getting ran over by that thing going full speed.
So
Well,
the-
and also like remember the things we used to ride on in elementary school, like the little square things you would sit on with the wheels, and you put your fingers under there, and they would always get crushed by the
Oh, yeah.
wheels. I
It's
mean,
going to happen.
they just didn't care at all about safety.
Remember the
We were
dude a
kids.
couple years back? I know who it is. Y'all probably don't know who it is, but he went down Hospital Hill, biggest hill in Bowling Green, in a kayak sledding. Broke both his legs.
Of course he did.
Ran into a culvert at the bottom of the hill.
my
Just was
God. I remember
flying,
that.
absolutely flying.
Can you imagine that guy was married and like had kids? And it's
Oh,
like,
I think he was like pretty.
Oh my God,
he was in his 20s or 30s.
That would
Old
be-
enough to know better.
yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be grounds for divorce. It'd be like, you're just too stupid.
Kayak
I
and
can't
snow,
stay
man.
with you. I can't stay with you.
They don't go.
So yes, it is snowing and cold here in Bowling Green, but it is hot inside the Sode Shack because we are back for another episode and going to be talking ADP review, looking at values and disappointments from the 2023 ADP. Before we kind of roll over to 2024 and start looking ahead to free agency and the draft and things to come, we want to take a look back one last time at some disappointments, some values, some guys that were injured, and just kind of look forward as well to what we can expect from these players in 2024. And then after the break, you will hear Johnny and Adam doing IDP bets for the divisional round. So we've got you covered. Just got back from Vegas, lost all my parlays, but thankfully Allie went three for three. So we ended up in the black coming out of Las Vegas. So that's, like you said on the last episode, just give me a win.
Sure.
Even if it's not much.
Sure.
Just give me a dub.
Even if it doesn't win.
Yes. Even if I didn't win, we won. Sure.
But yeah, thank God for them wives. They're
Seriously.
always bailing us out.
It's like it should be a lesson in just like the gambler's fallacy. I mean, she comes in not knowing really the teams, the lines, the situations, and goes 3 for 3.
Yeah, total crapshoot for the
So
most
it
part.
is. I mean, I'm doing all this research and really thinking it through, and I got close, but yeah, 0 for 3, Bobo.
It's like going to Keeneland and somebody, they just like the shirt the jockey's wearing.
Oh, that's all. I look at the horse. I'm like, I like the cut of that horse's jib.
Yeah.
I like
Natalie's
the
crushed
way,
at Keeneland.
Yeah.
right? It's just
She's done well.
That
the
horse
less
has a
you
good
think about it.
jawline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're like got the program out, like looking at the record on grass
Yeah,
or dirt.
Robbie Alvarado is good
Yeah,
on Thursdays.
we love the jockey.
Finding these racing accounts on Twitter.
Exactly. Going to like Bovado's horse racing Instagram or something.
Y'all been to Mint yet?
Not yet.
No.
No.
I want to do a fantasy draft there. I've heard it's pretty nice.
I gotcha. Like
Sounds
as far
fun.
as renting a room or something there?
Yeah, you can rent a room. They give you like some money to spend at the machines, I think, or whatever they have. Maybe like a drink ticket or something.
Sounds like next VIP. You're
There
going to be
we
a little
go.
more dangerous
Let's do
than
it.
usual.
It's all taking over the world, man.
That really is. That place is packed. Man, it's
Everyone
a
needs action.
gaming hall in Bowling Green.
Did you see that the
Converted H.H. Gregg.
Wow.
And also they're getting
Things you
the
needed to know.
swing simulator.
Before that, though, was a Walmart, I think, a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Crazy how it goes,
OG
guys.
Walmart.
You guys need to get down here to Bowling
Walmart,
Green.
H.H. Gregg. Now it's the Mint. They're getting the swing simulators, Eddie. I know that's got to be exciting
that's gonna
for
be
you.
sick.
That'll
That's the
be
next
nice.
If you buy one of those for the house, how much is that?
Oh, I'd say like 10 grand, probably a good one.
Really?
A good one, yeah.
A good one.
I thought it would be 4 or 5.
What I want, maybe I need to go in on with someone
Sure.
on this. I
Hey.
want a lighted golf course that stays open all night.
Hey, and we're gonna put
That's the
We're
future.
gonna put disc golf there too.
That'd be totally fine.
Why hasn't
you're fine
anyone
with it, I'm
done
fine.
that?
Let's do it. That's the next thing.
I agree.
Really? I mean, yeah.
Being able to play golf at midnight, it just gives me chills.
Seriously. I mean, I can't believe nobody's done that yet. That just seems like $1 million
They do it.
idea.
They do it some places.
Even in BG,
It's
if it was
starting
a
to
little
catch on.
like pitch and putt, even
Yeah.
if it was some 80, 120 yard holes,
yeah, like a par 3 course out of Old Stone or something.
be fine.
Fully lit up.
Something like down in Destin or Gulf Shores or something. You go, Myrtle Beach has actually a pretty
Like, why
awesome
why
one.
hasn't Las Vegas done that? They don't even put clocks in the casino because they don't want you to worry
there
about
are
time.
courses here that are like that.
Now, isn't that the course in Vegas that Tiger and them played this year as the match? Was it in Vegas, I think? It had to have been because they had like the big dome sphere
The sphere?
thing.
Yeah, I saw the sphere when I was
And
leaving.
it was lit, but I don't know if it's lit all the time. It might have been
I
just for
couldn't
that
see the
event.
sphere from my hotel, but I did see it when I was leaving.
I gotcha.
You see those like pictures on Twitter of the
Yeah.
people whose hotel room, they see the sphere, like the smiley face of the sphere, like looking through their window at
Is
them.
that for real?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Like that's what you're seeing when you're looking at it.
Yes.
That's not like
Well, there's that
CGI
famous-
stuff.
Have you seen the stuff inside there, like concerts that are going on there?
oh my
They're
gosh.
ridiculous.
That
dude.
sphere's huge.
I hope the
Oh my
sphere.
God.
I hope the sphere makes it. They lost a lot of money and fired their CFO the first year, so not
Probably
looking
not.
good.
Probably won't.
But enjoy it while it lasts.
What was the purpose of it to like bring in like
Just
big names?
tourism. Yeah, just bands and
Hey,
advertisements.
we're talking about it. Three
Yeah.
boys in a shed in Kentucky.
That's right. I mean,
making them a lot of money,
You can
too.
pay to advertise, like the G League advertised on there. Different movies and video games have
The
advertised.
G League.
The NBA, like developmental league.
Oh, okay.
They
okay.
have the G League's all in Vegas now, so
Josh,
they were
NBA guy.
advertising.
Boys, you guys are getting it all tonight.
They made it
What
into a
treat.
basketball.
What a treat.
What a treat! You get it all. You get golf, a little Las Vegas talk. But
Speaking of treats, let's talk about these treats here at D Line.
let's go.
Was
That's-
that a good segue?
That's a very good segue.
See.
That's a very good segue.
I can't wait to
I'm
host
proud of
one
you.
day.
So yes,
Years from
ADP
now.
review. Let's jump into it. We're gonna do best values worst first, and then we'll do disappointments second. But let's jump in with DL, and let's talk about 3 guys here who were a delight. No, 4 guys who were a delight along the defensive line. Let's kick things off with Adams. IDP MVP. We'll just knock off all these guys, then go back and talk about whoever y'all want to cover in more detail. First up, Khalil Mack, ADP DL45, finished as the DL2. He averaged 20.6 points per game in 2023, 349.4 total points on 81% of snaps. Danico Autry was next. He was ADP DL78, finished as DL17, 13.1 points per game, 222.75 total points on 67% of snaps. Zach Sealer, let's get a couple defensive tackles in here. DL106, finished as DL15.
Gosh.
13.9 points per game, 235.2 total points, 78% of snaps. And then last but not least, Justin Matabike, ADP DL123, finished as DL14 by Big 3 scoring, 14.2 points per game, 240.95 total points on 65% of snaps. Baba, where do you want to start from the DL?
Man, I don't know. I probably got to start with Matabike just because he was probably the one who came like farthest from left field, you know.
Not along the D line. I
mean-
think this is probably going to be the biggest jump.
Matabike is probably a guy with, you know, DL 123 was undrafted in half to, you know, 3/4 of these leagues. And
Justin Matabike did tie Antoine Winfield for IDP MVP votes.
wow.
And this is the reason. Most people want to vote for someone who they had drafted late who won them their leagues.
Yeah.
And 14.2 points per game.
And that was a pretty organic vote. Like the people that you took the poll from didn't know who anybody else was going to pick.
Nobody had any idea unless we talked about it in Slack. But for the most part, people were just kind of firing their votes off randomly.
No. What I want to say about Justin M over here. 13 sacks. We selling?
Oh, hell yes. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, where would you be comfortable taking him next season?
I was thinking that too. You know, defensive tackle. Go ahead and talk for a minute. I want to look where he finished D tackle.
I mean,
I think he was D tackle 1.
Was he really?
I believe so.
yes, him or Buckner.
Yeah.
But I
I
think
think Buckner might have edged him.
No, I think Matabike.
Want to make a bet?
Well, no, because I think did they rest Matabike in the last week? I know Buckner was playing, and I think Buckner
I'll look
finished
it up.
pretty strong.
33 QB hits for Matabike. That's insane.
Yeah, I think
We get
he's an
credit for
absolute.
those,
Because
and-
you think about like guys that overperform, like Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Quinnen Williams, like that had high sack totals.
Well, and
that can bottom out so quick.
Matabike is a lot like Puka from the extent of he was like a waiver wire darling of the year for us in IDP. If Puka was that way for you offensively, then Matabike just came out of completely nowhere.
Yeah.
You are right. Congratulations. Now, this is not quite Big Three scoring, but the XFL, which is close enough and preceded Big Three scoring. Yes, Justin Matabike was number 2 behind DeForest Buckner, but number 3, Zach Sealer. You know who was number 4? Christian Barmore.
Yeah.
Crushed it at the end of the year.
And then Derek Brown should be up there as well because he
Christian
had,
Wilkins, Ed Oliver, Derek Brown.
Yeah, let's see.
Followed by Quinnen Williams, Aaron Donald, Deron Payne.
So the Big Three scoring, I can tell you, it was looks like
Probably
number
similar.
1 defensive tackle. Matabike was number 1, 236. Sealer was number 2.
Actually, Buckner was number 1. I'm showing.
Was
Maybe
he?
there was a stat.
Yes,
correction.
you're right. He was 246. Matabike was
You are right, Bob.
236. So he beat him by 10 points.
I want an on-air apology.
No,
Look at the
you
camera.
actually gave it to me. Adam gave it to you. I gave it to myself, so I win.
Apology right now.
So yes, I think Matabike was. Sealer obviously was. Now Sealer had some flashes before.
Yeah.
I mean, Nate Tice had talked about Matabike on our show way back when as one of his IDP breakouts.
That was back in 2022.
I think so.
That was
may
a-
have been even sooner than that.
That was a fun D-line this year, and they're still fun in the playoffs. But, you know, Adam talked up another guy whose ADP was buried and played pretty well in Kyle Van Noy. There was a little stretch of the season, probably 2 months, where Kyle Van Noy was a really relevant waiver wire pickup. But no, the bigger names we need to talk about being Khalil Mack, and even Danico Autry was a fantastic edge.
I think everyone on this list is a great sell.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, Khalil Mack, this was his career season, probably. I mean, I don't remember those early Raiders days, or
Oh, this was definitely his career season.
but it
Yeah.
felt like this was probably
I think when he was a rookie, he put up like 15 sacks maybe, but that was his best year ever. So, yeah, I mean, he had a fantastic year. He's 33.
Same
So,
as
I
Autry.
mean, is someone going to be coming out and giving you a ton for him? Probably not. I mean, so I don't know. He's probably going to fit in that Bobby Wagner, Levante David category for me. I'm just going to ride him off in the sunset.
So, yeah, his second year in Oakland, he had 15 sacks, 294 points. He had 336 points by Big Three scoring.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, Khalil Mack was really like the original Micah Parsons. You know?
All right.
6'3", 269. Now, we'll say, I think Autry could still be a nice buy. Just in like best ball drafts, I think he could be a nice target because he's still going to get slept on.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think Khalil Mack is going to be overdrafted. I think Sealer, Matabike is going to be overdrafted.
But I think that honestly, Autry and Sealer both will still be slept on for the most
Probably.
part. But Matabike and Khalil Mack, he potentially could have like a second round ADP in these IDP
Absolutely.
only best balls we
Yes.
do.
I was
Like
going to say,
going as like edge, like
I was going to say
10?
10. Yep. I was going to say he'll be a top 10 edge.
maybe even more than that.
In Dynasty, you want Matabike or Kalijah Cansey more?
Cansey.
I got Cansey very high.
Cansey's very
Do
good.
you know where you have these? Don't look.
Oh, I don't know.
Who do you want more?
I want them both. They're both high. They're
All
both.
right.
They're both.
You're
up there.
right. You have Matabike one ahead of Kalijah Cansey. Interior D line 6, interior D line 7. You
Well,
have
after
Derek
last
Brown.
weekend though.
Yeah.
Cansey,
Might be jumping up a little higher.
yeah, he caught a lot of people's attention, I think. But listen, this isn't. He's been high in these ranks forever. I've seen a lot of people out here in IDP updating the dynasty ranks. It is funny because, I mean, these things have been locked in the entire season. So you got to come rock with us. You are behind at all these other websites. I've been doing this for 5 years. This will be my 5th year dynasty ranks. I gave them away for free for 3 years.
That's right.
5th year doing it. There's not a lot of us out there. And I promise you, once you also spreadsheet's back, folks. So once you get in this spreadsheet, you're going to understand fast what we're doing over here.
It's a whole different ball game. Go to theidpshow.com, Dynasty Rankings tab. You'll see at the top of the page we have a link to Adam's spreadsheet where you can see athletic measurables, contract data, college production. I mean, the amount of information, game logs are in there as well. So you're going to see pretty quickly the reservoir of data that Adam is using for these rankings. It's not just like gut feel and gumption.
One more tough one.
A lot of research.
Before you move on. Jalen Carter or Kalijah Cansey?
Jalen Carter.
Would you do anything Kalijah Cansey plus for Jalen Carter?
Hell
Yeah, absolutely.
What?
What can I get? It's,
You think a third?
the thing is, man,
I don't want a third.
Everyone that has Kalijah Cansey is hip to Kalijah Cansey,
Yeah, probably true.
Like, I mean,
You don't just randomly have Kalijah Cansey.
yeah.
You got to
Everyone-
spell his name right.
Everyone was seeing
Take
the
some
Aaron
looking.
Donald comps being thrown around about the dude,
Yeah. I think they could both be top 3, top 4 defensive tackles in the next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
I think once Donald ages out, Buckner ages out, Chris Jones ages out.
It's already like, think about how it's already flipped from last year. Like, there's already like all these guys that we didn't mention. Like, also Barmore belongs in this group. Sorry, Chris.
Derek Brown
All these guys are
had
like
the most
top 10 now.
tackles by a defensive lineman, I think, in history.
We got to shout out Baby Macri a little bit, too, because Macri was on to Barmore a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
The PFF grades were kind of good, kind of showing, trending that this guy might actually.
And what happens to these Patriots assets now that Billy B's out?
That's a good point.
Like, could we actually see some stability week in and week out from these? And Gerard Mayo's in the house now. I mean, who knows what that's going to look like?
You drafting them now?
No, absolutely not. Still hate the Patriots, so no.
Who, Barmore?
Well, just Patriots in general. Yeah.
We also have another really good interior defensive lineman coming in this class. I think it's Jerzon Newton. I don't know. I'm probably not pronouncing that right.
You did great.
Jerzon, huh?
You did great.
But this dude's going to be like a top 10 pick apparently out of Illinois.
Okay.
Another one of these guys that's like a pass rushing type. I saw he was getting comped to like Gerald McCoy.
Oh, gosh.
No, that's that tugs on your heartstrings.
It does. I love Gerald McCoy. He's a big old nerd. I saw him on NFL Network
Yes, he
doing
is.
analysis this weekend.
You are.
And I was like, there's my dude. I was like, I don't want to, if you're like, who would you hang out with? If you could hang out, I don't want to hang out with any NFL players.
But he'd be up there for you.
He would be my pick.
you want to go to the movies with Gerald McCoy.
I want to go watch a movie in his basement and
yeah.
just talk nerd stuff for a few hours.
He's on one of the shows now.
He's on NFL Network. He was doing analysis this weekend.
Who you hanging with?
Probably this new rookie coming in that I share a birthday with, Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
Cooper DeJean, let's go.
We're just gonna go out on our birthday.
Here's
and
what
hang
you're
out.
going to go to Top Golf on your birthday. You're going to teach them some pointers.
We're gonna tell the waitresses it's our birthday.
Yep.
And then they're gonna
Bring out
sing
silly
to
hats
us.
and sing to you.
You know.
I always tell my family, if you do that when I'm at a restaurant, I will walk out of the restaurant and leave.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you see
do
the
not- I don't
Do
like it.
not surprise me on my birthday.
you see the miserable hats being put on people, and then
Then
just
they
like
put the stuff in their
cream.
face. Like,
It's like get
Everyone's
that
staring
pie.
at you.
yeah, everyone in the
You're just
restaurant's like, oh
This
my
is the
God.
worst.
Yeah, I don't like
It's like
it.
an introvert's nightmare.
Adam's just crushing beer.
Yeah, just stone cold beers. Let's talk about linebacker values, and let's go to a Kentucky boy, Quincy Williams, ADP, LB 41, finished as LB 5, 16.1 points per game, 273.85 total points, 96% of snaps. Big Bob Spillane, LB 55, finished as LB 12, 14.5 points per game, 246 total points, 97% of snaps. And then hopefully he's okay. I think it's just a sprained ankle. Terrell Bernard, ADP LB 69, finished as LB 3, 16.5 points per game, 280.05 total points on 93% of snaps. Addy, who do you want to call out first from the linebacker values?
I'm gonna call old Quincy out.
Yeah, you do love you some Quincy.
I love Quincy, but Quincy did kind of fade down the stretch. Weeks 1 through 9, Quincy averaged 20.1 points per game. Weeks 10 through 18, he averaged 12.5 points per game. So wasn't that great?
Yeah, I remember saying, like, what's going on with the Jets linebackers?
Yeah, that's right. CJ Mosley had a down second half as well. But yeah, I mean, that's just the way it goes. We were definitely on record of saying sell Quincy after that hot start. I mean, he was LB1 after those first 9 weeks. So yeah, we'd love Quincy. I think Quincy's going to be safe and secure there and a good asset for us for the next couple years. But you know, he's a good cash out, I think, you know.
Well, and then, Bobo, look at all of these names here. And, yes, these are values. So they're going to be not no names, but just guys that weren't really on the radar. Now, what's interesting is you see these are 3 top 12 finishers, all outside the top 40 by ADP. Now, we also had IDP Madness winner draft linebackers early. So what strategy makes the most sense in these best ball drafts? Did you just fade and hope to hit on some guys? Do you go LB early? I mean, it's an interesting debate after seeing a guy with a weaker DL group win IDP Madness.
If you're going to win IDP Madness, you've got to hit on some of these Khalil Macks and Danico Autry's late, which we don't hate that, you know, thought process of going and grabbing some Chandler Jones, taking a dart throw on some of these guys that are older in age, so their ADP is going to reflect that. But if you're going to do that, you have to absolutely just smash your linebackers. I mean, DJ KT will probably do the article again this year to kind of see what is going to be the most, you know, efficient way to build your best ball.
He put
roster.
out a little preview of it in terms of like the win rates.
Yeah.
And Daniil Hunter was the number 1 player in terms of win rate.
Yeah, to win like a 12-teamer, the way we do it is still the way to do it. You want to load up on your edge guys, your defensive linemen first.
To win a 144-teamer,
Right.
You got
to zag, and you just got to hit the right players.
You just got to get lucky.
You know, you got to get lucky. You really do. You got to get lucky. But I mean, I had a good best ball experience this offseason. I was in 20 of them. I won 7 of them. Literally, I think in every single one of them, I waited till like the last 9 to 10 rounds to draft my defensive backs. Didn't touch them. Loaded up on corners, full of Charvarius Ward, full of DJ Reeds, full of all these Alante Taylors, Cam Taylor Britts, all these dudes loaded up.
Listen to the win rates of the DBs, folks. Justin Reed,
my
number
most
1.
drafted DB.
Byron Murphy, number 2. Carlton Davis, a Johnny the Greek favorite. Adoree Jackson, number 4. Alante Taylor, number 5. And then on the side, Daniil Hunter, Josh Allen, and Khalil Mack were tied. TJ Watt and Danico Autry was 5th. And then on the linebacker side, weirdly enough, one of your favorites, Jermaine Pratt, was number 1. Akeem Davis-Gaither was number 2. And CJ Mosley, number 3. And then a 3-way tie at number 4, Terrell Bernard, or a 4-way tie, Terrell Bernard, Josie Jewell, Levante David, Kaiser White.
Wow.
So
God bless DJ Keltown.
that article is going to slap. It may actually be a 2-parter, but stay tuned, folks. We're going to have that here in the coming weeks.
I love Mr. Keltown. I enjoy our conversations in the DMs all the time. Really, really smart mind. Just we're lucky to just get to
We hated him in the beginning.
know these folks.
Really nice guy.
Yes,
though.
it was. We found him on the old
rough start.
Canadian investing Reddit boards, but
Yeah.
now we're BFFs.
Giving us a hard time.
He's a great dude.
But what you're saying, Josh, is completely right. You still start with your DLs early, smash those.
That's still the right strategy.
You know, the other thing, too, I was thinking about the other day, this is a mower thought, even though I don't get to mow anymore. But, you know, we were...
thought.
yes,
snower
just
thought.
blowing snow out the mower exhaust.
It's close enough. But the, you know, there were a lot of linebackers that got replaced this year just kind of out of left field. But you very rarely see a defensive lineman that's drafted like really high completely lose their job. Like Devin White kind of got wiped off the face of the earth.
Shaq Leonard got cut.
You know, there was the weird week with the Colts where everybody's like, all right, EJ Speed coming in. And it's like, nope, it's actually Sagoon or
Sagunalubi, baby.
There you go. You know, so like the linebacker position is as firm and as locked in as we feel like it is in the preseason. Man, sometimes week 5 and week 10, you can just get thrown a curveball by some bad PFF play, some you know, down production, and you don't really see that. They're not taking Josh Allen completely off the field.
Well, and this was a good year for DL.
Yeah, sure.
Most of the top DL balled out.
Yeah.
There were very few flops inside that top 15, 20 defensive linemen
And
drafted.
the ones that you think are going to produce well typically do.
Yep.
Right? I mean, they're less risky of a pick. Like linebacker, like I feel like the first 10 or so you kind of know for the most part. But after that, like, I mean, I feel like you can wait on them. They're all kind of the same. Like, we loaded up on linebackers, like those linebackers 30 to 50. That's where the sweet spot is for linebackers. So, I mean, yeah, you want to attack your defensive linemen early. I think because, for one, they score the most. I mean, assuming you're playing in a good league that uses big play scoring, preferably big three scoring. But, yeah, you want to reward your edge rushers, your pass rushers, guys getting all these sacks because those are your best players in the NFL.
And this format too is best ball, right? So you want those players who are going to pop in a big play scoring league. Defensive linemen are the ones scoring 50, 60, 80 points in Khalil Mack's case because of the sacks, TFLs, QB hits, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and those elite guys, they definitely have another level. So yeah,
but it is interesting again to go back to Country Boy Swagger winning with stud linebackers.
Yeah,
we're gonna have him on the IDP After Show. Make sure y'all subscribe to that. Jeff Pomazal is our new host over there, and he will be having Country Boy Swagger and our boy Eric Harms on the next episode of that show, breaking down the draft and some best ball strategies. So I'm just very curious to hear his thoughts on why did you go LB early? That was just where the draft fell? Did you want to just stack linebacker? You felt like that was a good zig, or maybe you just linebacker crazy? I don't know. So be curious once we get a few more years of IDP Madness data to look at what actually proves to be a winning strategy, because a smart strategy and a winning strategy, I mean, I'll be curious if there's overlap there. Now, a lot of the teams I think that did well behind Country Boy Swagger were DL heavy.
Yeah. Right.
So
yeah, I feel like
and if Jalen Phillips hadn't gotten hurt,
that was mine, Country Boy.
That if Jalen Phillips had not,
there's gonna be another Country Boy up there.
That's right, Country Boys.
Yes, sir.
Will survive. Let's talk about DBs, and this first one is just an honorable mention to the greatness of Antoine Winfield Jr., ADP of DB9. Finished as the DB1. We throw him in here just because he was 45 points ahead of every other DB, so a true cheat code at the position. I think he was top 5 or 6 overall IDP in total points. He was 17.9 points per game, 303.1 total points, 98% of snaps. Charvarius Ward, DB64, finished as DB6. What a fantastic season from Charvarius Ward, 13.5 points per game, 229.1 total points, 85% of snaps. Deron Bland, off the back of all those interceptions and defensive touchdowns, 9 picks and 5 defensive touchdowns, goes from DB 115 to DB 3, 15 points per game, 254.15 total points, 90% of snaps. And to wrap us up, Josh Metellus, DB 141, finished as the DB 5, 13.6 points per game, 230.5 points, 94% of snaps. Eddie, I think you said in your NFC recap that Josh Metellus might have been the value pick of all value picks.
I think so, man. I mean, he was probably the safety that no one saw coming. You know, I mean, 116 tackles, 7 TFLs, 2.5 sacks. The usage was insane too. Like, the dude was like living in the sweet spot. It was like 95% of his snaps were coming like on the line, in the box, or in the slot.
116 tackles.
116 tackles, yeah. I mean,
7 TFLs.
Played, what, 94% of the snaps?
Yep.
You know, I mean, no one saw Minnesota utilizing 3 safeties. You know, everyone thought it was going to be a 2-man show like it had been for forever.
Yep.
You know, but new DC in town, that meant some changes. And it meant only one linebacker really being utilized at first, and then, you know, the 3 safeties stayed the entire year. So I like Metellus quite a bit. I am curious to see, like, how he is, you know, how that situation shakes out moving forward. Harrison Smith probably gone.
Probably getting cut.
Cameron Bynum gonna be still there next year. So, I mean, he should be the other safety alongside Bynum. And, you know, Flores continues to do this 3 safety thing.
Yep.
Should be pretty good.
Depends on what they bring in at linebacker. I'll be curious. You know, I think Ivan Pace Jr. has a shot there, but I think Jordan Hicks will be out the door. I don't think Brian Asamoah, sadly, is going to be anything. There's tons of linebackers available, Bobo. I think they could bring in someone, so we'll see how that affects things. But I agree with Addy. I think Metellus and Bynum will be the 2 safeties there as of right now.
I mean, I don't know how it is every year with some of these free agents, but Adam's talked about it a little bit in the last couple of months, the amount of talent that is out on the free agency market in terms of IDP. If you have a Max Crosby, if you have a Nick Bosa, if you have a Myles Garrett, those roles are solidified. If you have anybody outside of Adam's like top, I don't know, 30 IDPs in his dynasty ranks, there could be some shakeup in the NFL this next offseason as far as, okay, cool, I think that I have a good linebacker on said team. And all of a sudden in free agency walks in Willie Gay, comes in Kenneth Murray, comes in, trying to think of some of these other big-name linebackers. Bobby Wagner, I think, is a free agent right now. There's a ton of really, really good talent so far this offseason that will sign and will mess up a lot of these roles that we think that were good for 2023 but could be different for 2024. So you're right. Josh Metellus is probably a really good sell right now. All these guys that we're talking about tonight, haven't come across any of them yet. Antoine Winfield is going to be a really hard sell, but I mean, DB is a very fluctuating position. Antoine Winfield himself is also a free agent. Where does he go in free agency? Can the Bucs even retain him? It seems like after the season like that, he's going to, fetch a bag.
I think the Bucs might bring back some of this core since they've made a playoff run.
They're going to tag who?
They have anyone worth tagging?
You got
Mike Evans, I guess.
and
yeah.
Winfield.
Yeah, I could see them tagging Evans. I think Evans wants to test free agency, it seems like.
Yeah.
But they could throw out the tag on him. I think they'll re-sign Winfield, re-sign Baker, bring back Levante if he wants to play another year. Let Devin White go.
Yeah.
So I think you'll see this Bucs team relatively
I don't
intact.
think they got to let him go. I think he's just going to leave.
I don't think they have to shove him out the door at all. I think they're both sick of each other.
He may be gone.
Servassier season. Also, why is he not getting much play? He must be not
He's a rookie.
great right now.
Yeah.
Because
KJ Britt was solid. I mean, KJ
Yeah.
Britt had the I'm surprised he didn't get flagged, but when they stopped the tush push.
Was he the one ripping
he's the
his
ones
helmet
that
off?
ripped off Hurts' head almost.
Yeah. That was who was it? There was someone on the bottom of the pile. Someone dove underneath Jason Kelsey and just had like 3,000 pounds of man.
Was it Vita Vea?
It might have been.
Yeah,
That's Greg Gaines
that was
or
a
somebody.
Great matchup, though, with those two going at each other.
Oh man, that was
Two
just
large men.
just a wipeout.
So if y'all have Winfield, are y'all holding him or y'all selling him?
Yeah, I'm selling him.
What's
Yeah,
a
I sold
sell
him
for
to you.
Winfield?
I mean, I got Minka Fitzpatrick in the fourth.
A little
from you.
different though over here. The
Sure.
Yeah,
contract-
it was expiring.
Probably not a lot of contract leagues out there.
You have
for
them in
most.
sleeper.
I
Somebody
want.
Boy,
I'm probably not selling him for. I want a first.
I want a first. Yeah,
I want a
mean,
first.
he
Otherwise,
was
I'll just keep him.
IDP number 5 overall.
Yeah, and it's not like he's I know.
Out of nowhere. It's not like this is a
Right.
flash in the pan type of finish for Winfield. He's been good his whole career.
Right. On the ranks, we have the last 4 years points per game data. So Antoine Winfield this year, obviously crazy, 17.9 points per game, 13.2 in 2022, 14.1 in 2021, 10.8 in 2020, which is, I think, when he was a rookie maybe.
He's played 13 games in 2022 and 2021. And in 2020, he played 16 games as a rookie.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's been awesome. I mean, he's
He's
been a
supplanted
top
Derwin James
10
as
safety the
the
past 3 years.
safety one now.
Yep,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
for sure.
And K-Ham's right there behind him.
Yeah.
He'll be 26 this year. K-Ham is he's going to be 23 this next year. So,
I don't know that the K-Ham manager would do it, but I would trade Winfield straight up for K-Ham.
you try and get K-Ham.
Oh, yeah. If I can use Winfield to get K-Ham.
So you prefer? So you would probably rank K-Ham 1, safety 1.
I think
I guess it also depends on where you're at. If you're in a rebuild,
yeah, and
you
that's
probably,
the thing. I would lean towards Winfield, but I'd rather have the extra 3-4 years of
Winfield's
age advantage.
25.4. K-Ham is 22.9.
Yeah.
And plus, it feels like K-Ham can still go up
He could go to another
level, right? Where Winfield, it's unlikely that
This is probably the
this
best,
is the best we're gonna see.
season of his career. Like Khalil Mack,
He'll
this
settle
is-
back into like 14 points per
I
game.
mean, you look
15
at the
points per game
total
next year.
points. It's
23 points per game for Antoine Winfield. I'm sorry, 17.9 points per game, and then for Kyle Hamilton, 15.8.
Yeah, you look at
second year for him.
You look at Winfield. Winfield
came through.
Yeah.
He did. He has historically. Did you say what? What did you say?
Cam came through.
Okay, I thought that's what you said. I just had to hear you say it again. Winfield has historically been around 180 total points. This year was 303. So this will almost certainly
Historic
be
season. This is like when when Jamal Adams did his thing.
one of the
he had
best seasons
9.5
we've
sacks
ever seen.
But I think you could maybe get the K-Ham manager to give you a little bit plus for Winfield.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't just meet at the middle. I would say, and then you have to give me a third or a second.
Yeah.
Start something
If
high.
you can get something else plus K-Ham, I think that's a pretty fair
You can
swap.
say, yeah. Listen, K-Ham had like a 50-point week where he sacked a high-ass Gardner Minshew
Exactly.
3 times.
Gardner didn't know what the hell was going on. He just kept waking up on the ground.
Man, Max Crosby's mean, dude.
He's so angry.
He's calling me little boy, man.
What's up with that, man?
Jeez.
Oh,
Turn his mic off.
Yeah, I love him as a backup. I don't
Cut
want to
him
see
at the
him
mic'd
play
up at halftime.
any more games for my Indianapolis Colts. Let's move to disappointments and talk about defensive line. Player we've talked a lot about in this category and in this light, Brian Burns. DL 8 finished as DL 32. So again, it wasn't like he was DL 150 or something. 12.4 points per game, 198.1 total points, 83% of snaps. Zaven Collins, DL 25, finished as DL 90, 6.8 points per game, 115.9 total points, 58% of snaps. Chase Young, DL 26,
Yeah.
DL 82 finish. 8.6 points per game, 128.65 total points on 73% of snaps with Washington, just 58% with San Fran. He is set to be a free agent. Bobo, Chase Young is the name that just jumps out from this list for me.
Yeah, I mean, they all do to some extent, but you're right. Yeah, Chase Young is quite different than Montez Sweat because when the Bears brought in Sweat, they
better.
re-upped him. Yeah, he got better, and then they
Signed
also
him.
paid him.
Yes.
And now Chase Young walks into free agency. I don't know if off of this season, unless there's something crazy in the postseason, if
Yeah,
you
he could
see
get
San Francisco
5
retain him.
sacks over the next 3 games. You never know.
I just don't know that you're going to see Chase Young in a 49ers uniform in 2024.
I would be surprised if he was.
But, I mean, you knew the inherent risk. You know, DL 26 was still too high.
That's insane.
I think we talked about it a lot this offseason that, like, yeah, sure, Chase Young could do this, but he also could do what we're talking about right now. But, yeah, let me jump up here real quick before Adam talks to Brian Burns. You think that could just be like a situational thing? He's just like,
Absolutely.
dude, this
Yes.
team sucks. I'm tired. Like,
Yes. That's a tough sitch, dude. That's a terrible team.
One of the worst teams we've ever
And
seen.
also ownership's awful, clearly. They just changed the entire staff over.
Brian Burns is 25.8 years old. I'm probably buying Brian Burns.
He's one of
right
my
now.
biggest offseason buys.
Absolutely.
100%.
No doubt.
Because I was talking with the guys on Front Office Pros, like, what could you get Burns for right now? Let's assume the manager is very disgruntled. Maybe they left Burns in the lineup at the end of the season, and he just completely burned them.
I bet a third.
Yeah, I think so.
Could you? Yeah, I think I said a third and a fourth on.
That'd be fine. Who
On-
cares?
Front
Like
office
around
pros.
the draft or something, like around your rookie draft.
Yes, that's a great
good
point.
point.
If you're looking to trade picks, wait until right before the draft, because that is when picks are going to be at their apex in terms of value. People want to get in on the action, and you may be able to swoop in there and grab a Brian Burns.
But yeah, I like him, and even if he does stay there in Carolina, he's got Derek Brown next to him.
Yeah.
Really damn good. He was.
What if you get a coaching upgrade? That
Coaching
team
upgrade.
is suddenly better. He's rejuvenated. Maybe they.
they have some money, right? So they can bring in some free agents, probably.
Yeah, I just wonder if they pay him or if they franchise tag him. If they franchise tag him, I'm kind of worried it's just another season of
Yeah.
just like, I don't want to be here. I should have gotten paid. But franchise tag's guaranteed. Probably be a pretty nice payday for him. God, y'all, Chase Young was edge 20. Zaven Collins was edge 19. That's really bad.
Yeah, Chase Young. I mean, the guy stinks.
Yeah.
8.1 points per game this year. Last year it was 3.8 points per game. In 2021 it was 7.5 points per game. We're all excited about when he was a rookie when he averaged 13.1 points per game.
Yeah, he's never really
Kind
been
of
that
boring.
guy. Hold on, do we have it?
You're not that guy, pal.
Wow.
Trust me. You're not that guy.
Look at
Good
him.
pull by me.
Really good pull. But yeah, I mean Chase Young. I mean he is talk about someone that what's his value worth now?
Yeah.
You know,
Do you even want him?
I mean, if I could
is
get
there
him
still
for,
a chance? Is there still a chance? There's still
There's
any
still,
hope?
of course, there's a chance, but I want to pay a fourth to find
fourth,
out. I
right.
don't want to pay a third.
But is there?
Sure, there is.
Are we not seeing the chance? This is his chance.
It's a chance.
He's playing with Nick Bosa in San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's
true.
coming
In the
in
playoffs.
mid-season.
Hargrave.
Playoffs?
But it's a chance to sit on my bench and let's just see what I got. I'm not counting on this guy for anything.
I don't know. I'm
You're
just
not
worried
selling
he's
if you got him
roster clogger.
because no one's going to give you anything for him.
Yeah.
But I mean, would you buy him for a third?
Nope.
No.
No, sir.
Wow.
We just talked about Brian
Nope.
Burns being maybe acquired for a third.
True. Yeah.
Way rather have Burns.
I would
100%.
Would you give a 2025 second for Burns? That was the other price I threw out.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I would too.
Sure.
Because we've seen it from Brian Burns.
Yes.
You know, he's been an elite asset
Yeah, I think
for us before.
Yeah, I feel like the best is yet to come for Burns.
The PFF numbers are okay.
He's never been a great grader.
On the season,
74.1 is fine.
pass rush,
Pass
75.
rush, yeah, 75.2.
Crazy in coverage, 77. Let's go. Dropping back more.
Let's talk about linebacker disappointments because we've got some juicy names on here.
Yeah.
First up, I mean, this is a relative disappointment for where you had to take him. Roquan
No,
Smith,
You're disappointed.
LB1, finished as LB17. He was a mid-first rounder. 14.9 points per game, 239.2 total points, 97% of snaps. Devin White, you knew his name was going to come up. LB4 ADP finished as LB41. 12.5 points per game, 173.75 total points on 97% of snaps. Shaq Leonard, I think, was LB7 to start the preseason and settled at LB20, finished as a very cool LB69.
We tried to tell you.
7.7 points per game, 108.2 total points, 70% snap share with Indy, 47% with Philly. We know Devin White. I mean, I think he's not a bad buy. He kind of is like in that Chase Young mold for me. He's like a little bit of a supercharged version of Chase Young in that I think there's a better chance that he could be revived somewhere else, but I'm not paying anything to get this guy and find out. Shaq Leonard is just toast. I think he's a roster clogger at this point. I think you cut him loose. But Roquan Smith, Addy, let's talk about Roquan. Still had a nice season, but this is just the kind of pitfall of taking linebackers in the mid-first round, is that you may end up feeling just a little bit of disappointment.
Yeah, I think everyone should maybe not cry so much about this one. 15 points per game.
Still pretty solid.
Still pretty solid. 158 tackles, 5 TFLs, 1.5 sacks.
I think it's
8
just
TDs.
hard when you see the linebacker names in front of Roquan. You're like, God, I could have gone with Daniil Hunter or Josh
Hey,
Allen.
you didn't take Devin White, though.
That's right.
Devin White was going, top 5, top 6. You took Roquan, and I mean, obviously you weren't in the position, or you're in the position to take Roquan and not Devin White, but still, I mean,
So Devin White was basically the third pick of the second round.
yeah.
He was 15.7.
So he was what, LB4?
Yep.
Wow.
And Roquan was essentially the fifth pick.
Yeah. Roquan went after the big four just in about every draft.
It was a choice. Like, so you could go, you could not go linebacker in the first round and get one of these defensive linemen, these elite defensive linemen, or you could get Roquan or Foye.
Yep.
And then in round 2, it was either Devin White or Wagner, pretty much.
Yep. Yeah, Fred Warner was mixed in there as well. But as far as linebackers go, that's really it. Because the second round, you're looking at basically like Jalen, Thibodeau, Quinnen, Aaron Donald, Matthew Judon, Joey Bosa, Chris Jones, Highsmith, Daniil Hunter. Roquan actually split up the big 5 at edge rusher and went Micah, Bosa, TJ Watt, Max Crosby, Roquan, Myles Garrett. So I think that's the pinch you maybe feel a little bit is I could have had, a Myles Garrett,
Yeah.
but
Myles Garrett let you down the stretch as well.
He did.
Yeah. He got quiet.
I mean, it still is a 15 points per game. I mean, because I'm looking at the splits. I was expecting like it to be, he averaged 18 points per game the first 1 through 9, and then it was 12 points the second half. But it really wasn't. Let me find
Probably
them.
something like 17 and
They were
14.
both like pretty similar. Okay.
Are the splits in the spreadsheet as well?
They are, yes, they are. So weeks 1 through 9, he averaged 14.7 points per game, and actually weeks 10 through 18, he averaged 15.3. So
Okay,
he averaged
so he was
more the second half.
pretty consistent. Now, here's the question, I think. Does Roquan go LB1 again in 2024?
Well, Roquan may not have Patrick Queen there with him.
Is that a good or bad thing?
I think it's a good thing. Although Trenton Simpson, well, we did see a glimpse of him. Pretty good. Pretty good.
I think he's going to be good.
I think you plug him right in, he's going to ball.
Yep.
So
Huge buy.
Oh, absolutely.
Huge buy. I think Queen's a good buy. I think Devin White, again.
Yeah, we love these situations where everyone gets to eat. Everyone gets lifted up. Patrick Queen can go be an LB1 somewhere. Trenton Simpson gets to come get his
Patrick
opportunity.
Queen goes to Las Vegas and gets to be the LB1 there, just like Bobby Okereke did in New York.
Yes, something
That's
like
a
that.
huge win for everybody. Or pick any linebacker needy team. As long as he doesn't land with like an established guy already there. And I think I would try to buy some of these guys for cheap before they sign these deals.
Yeah.
Because like especially the good linebackers, the ones that we know can actually perform. That were just a little overshadowed.
Yeah. If you're in these shallow leagues, like where you have like, I don't know, you start like 7 IDPs. I mean, someone like Trenton Simpson could be out there on your waiver wire,
Pick him up.
and he could easily be like a top 15 linebacker. Easily.
Easily. I mean, we've seen Patrick Queen do that, and he's stepping right into the Patrick Queen role.
Yep.
So
There's very few linebackers that I am not willing to trade this offseason. A lot of these big name guys, somebody wants to come knocking for Roquan, sure. I don't care.
What will you sell him for?
boy,
I give you a second and a fourth. Is that enough?
that's close.
It depends on when the second
Second is a late second, and the fourth is a fourth in this class. It's 401.
Nope.
I'm giving you the 211 and the 401.
Nope.
And you're going to give me Roquan Smith.
Probably not.
No, thank you.
All right, I'm going to give you the 204 and the 401.
That's closer.
That is closer.
I'd rather just have one first, I think.
Yeah, I don't know that you're getting
I
him
ain't
first for
giving you that.
Roquan.
If you want a first for Antoine Winfield, I mean, I want a first for Roquan Smith.
Well, but it's like I also know that first for Antoine Winfield is going to probably be a future first.
Yeah.
When we're talking about getting these first for these guys, like no one's going to give you a upcoming first.
Yeah.
You're going to need to get these 2026 first.
Yeah.
Like that's honestly like because that's really the only angle you have to get these first. Otherwise, everyone's just going to hold too tightly to them. No one wants to pay up for these IDPs.
And it's recency stuff. No, everybody wants their picks this year.
And everyone understands. Like everyone listens to this show.
Yeah.
Everyone knows how this stuff goes at this point. Like,
I'm just saying, try to cash in on your league, dum-dum.
Yeah, oh yeah.
See if you can go bash some heads.
For a while, yeah.
See if you can do it.
Can do it for a while, sure. But eventually, most people wise up.
They leave the league or they hate your
Yes.
guts and don't want to trade with you anymore.
Yeah.
So Roquan Smith, LB1, yes or no? In the ADP. I think it'll be Foye.
It'll be Foye.
I think so too.
It'll be Foye. 3. I mean, so he was number 2 in Big 3 scoring this year, but
Week 18.
Week 18, right? That's what it took.
Week 17.
Week 1 through 17, it was Foye. So
Foye.
we'll just say Foye.
3, because that was the fantasy
Yeah.
season for most folks.
Okay. 3 years as
LB1.
LB1 through the fantasy season.
Foye should be LB1.
But does that not make him a good trade?
Well, of course it does. He can only go down. But we've said that for 2 years now.
I mean,
I don't know, man. As long as he's in Jacksonville,
right. It's,
coaching staff's the same now. Different defensive coordinator.
Devin Lloyd did
Devin
play
Lloyd's
well
coming
down
on.
the stretch.
he did well.
Better.
We did have a question if we thought Devin Lloyd would overtake Foye, and I said no. As long as Foye is there under contract, he'll be the LB1.
Yeah.
And I think Lloyd will be the second banana playing every snap as well. But
Yeah,
I would
it's a Roquan Patrick
take
Queen situation.
Yes, I would take Foye in that equation.
I just think it's a good time to move on from some of these names this year, maybe. Roquan, I would sell. And again, it's not like a bargain type deal. It's if somebody gives you a fair offer, trade Roquan, I'd trade Foye. Do you trade Fred Warner?
I mean,
He's one I'd rather hold on to.
same thing. It's like, what am I going to get? It's,
204 and the
no
401.
one's giving me a first.
That might
probably.
get it done. I haven't really dug into the rookie class as much
It
yet.
might have to be like a player type situation. If you can get younger at a defensive line position, and then I don't know. I love kind of throwing in some offensive players as well.
Would you do like a Roquan for like a Will Anderson type of deal?
I don't think the Will Anderson manager is going to do that.
Yeah.
I
guess it depends on the league type.
type,
if it's
yeah,
if
tackle
it's
heavy
if it's a stupid
versus-
tackle heavy league.
Versus big play.
But even like your next three linebackers in the ADP or in the dynasty ranks, Ernest Jones, I think is probably a good sell. I don't know that the year gets any better than what he did this year. Jack Campbell's different because he's younger, but then Nick Bolton here is the LB5. I actually think Nick Bolton's a nice buy, and I know I'm the Nick Bolton lover, but he's the opposite end of the spectrum to where it's like I think a lot of pieces probably leave this offseason. People are probably a little bit hurt that he was hurt some this year and they didn't get to use him as much.
Nick Bolton will be, unless he gets hurt, if he stays healthy, he'll be much better next season.
Trading Bobby O.
Yeah, he's a great sell.
Zaire.
I actually want Ernest. I think Ernest can go to another level. I think we saw a really nice season from Ernest, but it sounds like they're running it back with the coaching staff.
24.2 years
a
old.
lot of those players will be back. I don't think Ernest has hit his peak yet.
I like all those guys, but I like them all in like 1 or 2 year windows, right?
Yeah.
No one feels good about any of these guys really past like 3 or 4 years.
I mean, Fred is the only
obviously
one.
Fred and Roquan.
If I'm betting on who is the next Eric Kendricks, Levante David, Bobby Wagner that can play into their mid-30s, give me Fred.
Exactly. Yes, and we've said that forever.
But
about
playing
Fred.
that game is hard, though.
Yes,
That's a tough game to play.
that's why I think you should just sell.
Yeah,
Not
if you
really
get a good
play the
offer,
game.
yeah, just sell. Just cash out.
Farm the linebackers
Because
in
look
season.
at we just mentioned 3 top 12 linebackers came from outside the ADP of LB40 and beyond.
And there were so many.
Every year.
We didn't mention
EJ Speed.
Caden Ellis.
Yeah.
Kelly Key Hudson there for a stretch was
Yep.
insane. Just tons of examples of that.
I mean,
Aziz Al-Shaair.
the rotating just
Alshir was great.
Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker situation. I mean,
Christian Harris was great. Second half of the season.
Blake Cashman was awesome for a stretch there. I mean,
JOK.
you can
JOK was really
JOK
good.
came on down. I mean, he was electric in that playoff game.
Kazir White.
We were in the
Yes.
pool watching Browns Texans, and now he's like, "Who is this? Who is this Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah guy they keep talking about?" I was like, he has been phenomenal down the stretch. I mean, he was making every play.
Alex Anzalone was a nice value. There's just so many examples of that, man.
So it's
Every
like,
single year, and it's every year.
That's why
Cashman.
it's the idea of cashing out should not be as scary as it sounds. Even though we all love, I mean, we're an IDP podcast. We obviously love these defensive players and love these studs, but we're always going to cash out when we can. That's just good business.
Yes.
I think that's always the smart move. Let's talk DBs, though, fellas. Disappointments. Jalen Petre, DB2, finished as DB67.
Yikes.
We'll talk about him. Isaiah Simmons, DB3, finished as DB119. Jeremy Chin, DB4, finished as DB221. Where do we want to start with this list? Let's go Jeremy Chin first. 4.5 points per game, 49 total points, 12 games played. So you could throw him in the next section, which is injured.
But
39% of snaps.
that's the key number we need to pay attention
Yep.
to. Didn't see the field. And I think that what's interesting is some of the stuff I've seen so far on X when I log in once every 3 weeks. Jeremy Chin basically said something about this offseason where he is a free agent. They're not going to pick up. I don't think he was a first rounder, so they won't pick up his fifth year. But Chin basically said, I just want to go somewhere that I'm wanted.
I saw that.
I think it's just been a slow burn for Jeremy Chin where his passion is just kind of gone. The team really doesn't care for him. We talked about what that's looked like with Brian Burns so far this year. I kind of like Jeremy Chin. I think Jeremy Chin could be a nice little buy. I don't know, throw a fifth out there, maybe get Jeremy Chin. And we've seen what the heights look like for Jeremy Chin. It's awesome. That rookie year was pretty fun.
We talked about that with Tripp and Sig on the Dynasty episode of, Chin's
not?
a fine buy if you're not paying anything for him.
Oh, yeah.
This
round.
is the cheapest possible. I'll give a 2025 fifth or something.
Because I feel like the best Jeremy Chin is maybe like a DB2. I don't really know if he ever gets to that DB1 category.
You hope that the team that signs him says, I have a plan for using Jeremy Chin.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this guy a chance. It's not going to be an Isaiah Simmons situation who played 33% of snaps. That he's just not getting the opportunity. And we got excited in New York. Maybe this is a potential kind of second chance for Isaiah Simmons, and it's just never materialized.
It's just weird with my boy. I don't know. I know the ADP, the DB3 there, he's dual, so maybe that messes with that like ADP. So
Yes,
you
I
could have
think
played him at
that boosts him
linebacker also.
way up.
But the guy did he ever play a snap for the Cardinals this year? Was he traded
I don't
preseason?
remember. But even so, he
played for the Cardinals a little bit. I think
his like overall ADP was really high though. Still, it was still like in the 50s.
Oh, yeah.
people
right?
just I think that might have just been because we loved Isaiah Simmons, and maybe
We
folks
got
that-
off. We did get off.
Maybe people missed the episode where we bailed out on Isaiah Simmons, but yeah, he was ADP overall 49. So that is a like beginning of the 5th round type of pick.
I think he's a fun NFL piece to have. I just don't know that he's ever going to have much IDP value. I don't know that you're ever going to see him with like an 80% snap
I think he's
share
just one of
anywhere.
those weird players that's a tweener,
Yeah.
and that just really struggles to find a position that he can play well.
Yep.
Yeah. But like Chin, I mean, I think they're both fine buys if you can get him for 5th.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because Simmons is gifted, like like physically, like you just cannot.
4.39.
Yeah, you can't
Look away
find
from
guys
the
like
gifts,
this,
yeah.
6'4", you know, 4'3", 40, like just freak athletically. And sometimes it just you need the game to slow down for you, and it takes a little bit longer than others. And that could be the situation here with Isaiah Simmons. You know, he just
Damn.
hasn't really found a spot.
I'm sending some Simmons offers out tonight. I can see where
Let's
that's
do
If you
it.
get him for a 5th, I mean, seriously, he has his chance to go
Yeah.
pick where he wants to actually go. To be like Chin, taken by someone that hopefully wants him and has a plan for him. Hopefully, he can have all that stuff situated before he goes there.
And teams are going to call.
Teams are going to call, man. This is a former top 10
He's still
pick.
young.
Yeah.
And again, like all that stuff I mentioned, like freak athletically.
I just worry because the Cardinals literally dumped him. The Giants did nothing with him. So it's like two different coaching staffs got to look at
two
this guy.
bad
Two bad
organizations.
teams. Two
I
bad
mean,
teams.
that's
Wait.
not great though.
Wink Martindale runs a really, intricate defense. Probably hard for him to pick up, and there was already some pretty solid linebackers there ahead of him. Some solid DBs too. I mean, McKinney
McKinney
played great this year,
and
and then
Pinnock.
Pinnock was awesome as well.
You kind of wish Arizona had kept him where they ended up linebacker wise.
Yeah, we had a
he'd
good
have played
comment
a
about
ton.
that.
Yeah. I think someone said on YouTube, like,
It's true, man.
That
Like
dude
he
would
would
have
have
ate
He would have done really well, and then
Yep.
we'd probably be thinking a lot differently about him. You
Yep.
know.
Where
it
do you
just-
want him to play though? DB or linebacker?
I think I want to be linebacker. Honestly, let me have him as a linebacker.
Could you see him as like a JOK type, sort
Yeah.
of like I think I'm gonna look up there,
I think he could. I think he belongs closer
Their
to the line of
builds.
scrimmage.
see if they're similar.
I don't disagree.
Let him. I mean, sometimes it takes a little bit for these guys to bulk up. Simmons could, he could have a nice late career. I think.
Yeah, look at Foye. Foye was kind of cast off there in Atlanta. He probably popped a little bit more than Isaiah Simmons did.
So
But
Simmons is bigger than I thought. He's 6'4",
he's
238.
enormous, dude.
Yeah.
So he's got the size to be a linebacker. I just kind of I don't know. Does he have the instincts, right? The sort of mentality you need to play linebacker. Or is he just better as like this kind of rangy safety? I don't know. I don't
think
know
he's
the answer
better-
to that question.
I think he's better as a rangy safety. I think that was more of what his role was at Clemson. But for IDP, we want him to develop as a linebacker because that's where you're going to score the most points.
So JOK is 6'2", 221, and Simmons is 6'4", 238. So he's got 2 inches on him and about 17 pounds.
Look at Simmons' coverage grade, 82.7, and an overall defensive
Did
grade
he
of
say
68.9.
his most natural position is DB? I thought
don't
he
know.
said that during
Maybe
the
so.
season. So
What
I-
are you saying? Where? You said where could he go, or were you talking position?
I was just thinking positionally.
I gotcha.
I think to see him succeed, I think he's going to have a better chance just NFL-wise to succeed as a safety. But I agree with you. I'd rather see him as a linebacker for IDP because I think that'll be more valuable.
Where could these
It's just,
guys?
we just don't see how many 6'4" safeties. I guess you see it with Kyle Hamilton, but
Yeah.
you just
Oh,
don't
yeah,
see
what's the
that.
comp there physically? Let's look. So Kyle Hamilton is 6'4", 220. So that's actually almost like a perfect comp.
Simmons just has him like by 20 pounds.
About 20 pounds. So let's look.
How old is Simmons?
Simmons is 25 and a half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
25. So Simmons by season, 112 points, 191 points, 218 points last year.
Yeah.
Now that was
12.9 points per game.
when he was really starting to play more safety though. His first 2 seasons as a linebacker, 112 and 191, and then 107 this year.
But look at the Cardinals team. Zaven Collins, misused. Budda Baker has just disappeared. Jalen Thompson.
I think that team is turning over that roster.
But I'm just saying, that
be
team
curious.
is terrible. Do you want anybody on the Cardinals on both sides of the
Defense.
ball right
No,
now?
absolutely not.
I mean, it's just a bad team. I don't know. I don't know.
Let's talk about, though, Jalen Petre.
It'd be fun to see where Simmons goes.
This is a guy that was, I believe, maybe a second-round pick. No, sorry. He was end of the third. He was ADP of, 36 in Madness and 40 overall. So he was an early fourth-round pick. Safety 2, going between. So here was, I always like to look at like the context, right? So here was the run-up to Jalen Petre. Okereke, Quay Walker, Logan Wilson, Jeffrey Simmons, TJ Edwards, Christian Wilkins, then Petre, then Buckner, Luvu, Mosley, Za'Darius, Trey Greenlaw, Zaven Collins, Trace Young, Patrick Queen, Isaiah Simmons. But still, some really nice picks after Jalen Petre, though. And then you see just this awful output.
Jalen Petre should not be drafted that early. Like, he's a defensive back, guys.
Exactly. But
Again,
people just were horny for the fact that he was DB safety 1.
14.7 points per game.
Exactly.
It'll be the same thing with Winfield this next year. Winfield's going to be getting drafted like in the third, fourth round.
He might go like back of the second in some drafts.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'm telling you, dude.
Oh, I think so.
Finishing as IDP 5. Think about where he's going to be in Sleeper's stupid ADP.
Derwin was up there in the second round, right?
Yeah, let's see where Derwin was.
So, I mean, it'll be the same thing. Winfield will be a second-round pick.
That's
I think
stupid.
That's a good comp. Derwin was ADP of 27. So he was like an early third-round pick. But he was 23 in Madness.
Plenty of second-round Derwin.
Yep.
In Dynasty, though, it's hard to look away from the way that Winfield plays. That dude's a baller.
Oh, yeah.
I love this in our ADP.
Oh, yeah.
It says the earliest players were taken. The earliest Derwin James was taken across 73, 72 drafts, 9th. Let's see where Petre
He'll get
was.
a first, I bet.
Petre was
first-round pick.
12.
Oh,
There
wow.
you go, dude.
12
That's
overall.
insane.
That is nuts.
Don't do that, guys. Do not
The person who
be
took
that person.
Petre 12th is
So
like, what?
So going ahead,
Why?
what's going to be the earliest you're going to take a DB this year?
Same.
Same. It's
Where-
my
Where-
strategies.
Maybe I'll take one in the 19th round.
Okay.
I feel like I took some. I probably had some like. I feel like I took Chauncey Gardner-Johnson like in the 15th and one, and that
Okay.
was the highest I went.
And
But I
notice-
had plenty of like Julian Loves in the 18th.
Yeah.
Notice
19th.
too, I mean, a lot of cornerbacks finished very high in the DB ranks.
Yeah.
So if you can hit on those DBs, I mean, and Charvarius Ward was not one that was like really, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Charvarius Ward's been IDP relevant for a while. So that's why I'm fine going late DB.
And another
is because I'm fine to sprinkle in some cornerbacks.
Exactly. And the cornerbacks are relevant in big 3 scoring and hopefully your big play scoring leagues because we award 4 points for PDs.
Yep,
So, I mean,
exactly.
Charvarius Ward had 23 PDs this year.
Yeah.
So he
100
is
points.
really, really good, man. He especially in the scoring. But I mean, they should be good. The cornerbacks, really, your cornerbacks are more important than your safeties.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
They get drafted higher. Just look at the NFL. Cornerbacks go top 10 all the time.
And I know that safety is becoming more of like a hybrid position. Like they're asking more of these safeties, and they're like Kyle Hamilton does everything. Plays on the line, plays in the slot, plays deep, plays does it all. But still, I think teams will tell you that they favor a lockdown corner over a stud safety.
100%. You don't see, how many safeties do you see going inside the top 10? Not a lot. How many lockdown corners? All the time.
And Charvarius Ward was like PFF rated like top 10 among all cornerbacks.
Yep.
Also, PFF is the shit. I've seen a lot of just
Dumb stuff on the
dumb stuff
on the timeline.
from dumb. I will never ever care what JJ Watt thinks about advanced stats. Just for the record, do
Yeah.
not care what that bozo thinks about.
when you were
stats.
saying that we shouldn't be graded by an algorithm, buddy,
turn off.
the point is dead right there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, JJ Watt.
Yeah.
I wanted to look at and see for the top scorers here.
Josh, you think
Bobby, go ahead.
you'll go? Do you think you'll jump in 8th, 9th, 10th round like you did last year?
I may.
Grab a DB.
I may. But I mean, this
In
was
other words, if K-Ham's there, yes.
I
He won't
wanted
be there. Cam's going to be a 4th round, 3rd round pick this year.
I did want to see. That's what I wanted to look up. So he actually finished, as safety 3. So I got one flag plant right. Hallelujah. There you go.
Nice. You had him top 3.
I had him top 3.
Good one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And
we
then-
argued about that.
Hey, we
one.
did great on the flag plants.
I think I got 2.
You really lit it up. I went 1 for 3.
Well, Adam had about 18, so
Yeah, he had
the
the
mini
little-
flags.
The mini flags.
It's like
They were
a
good.
putt-putt course.
Yes.
Justin Reed, top 24, I think, was one of
Smash.
them. Denzel Perryman let me down, but
Yeah, Devondre Campbell getting hurt and being washed definitely did not help me.
Yeah.
But and then Aaron Donald, I had him as D tackle 1.
That's a
I think
conversation.
let's see, 1, 2,
I'm
3.
still in. I'm still in. I'm fine.
I love that.
Let's
I mean,
see,
I like that
4,
we're going to have year 2 of Kobe
6,
Turner and
7.
Byron Young. They're going to bring in someone else too.
Absolutely.
He was D tackle 8.
He'll have
so
more.
Wasn't terrible.
He'll have more
but
help this next year.
Definitely, dude.
They got
And
money, they
experience
got
with those young
picks.
guys.
Yeah.
He was. It looks like.
And they're juiced up, man. They saw what we're not. It ain't over. We still are fine. We can still compete. We can still
the Rams
potentially
should,
make
the
a
Rams
run.
should be right there, man. They could have.
right
They could
there,
have
dude.
easily beat the Lions.
Quentin Lake.
They got a fun team.
The
Yep.
team's good.
Well coached.
Yep.
They need another linebacker.
They're running back.
They're fine.
Let's talk about some dishonorable mentions, and this is just because injuries wrecked these guys' seasons, and I want to just get y'all's outlook on these players as we wrap up here. We're just going to run through all the positions here, and you guys give me your thoughts on who you like, who you're targeting, who you're fading, who you're not interested in at all. But let's start DL. Jalen Phillips averaged 17.5 points per game. 8 games played. He was DL 7 in points per game, drafted as DL 9. That just hurts so much. Matthew Judon was DL 13. He was DL 5 in points per game, 18.8. Looks like he played 4 games. Joey Bosa was the DL 14. He was DL 20 in points per game. He played 9 games. And then let's move to the linebacker, Nick Bolton, LB3. We mentioned him, 8 games. He was LB 47 in points per game, 10.9. Quay Walker was LB 9. He was LB 25 in points per game, 13.6. Matt Milano, LB 16. He was LB 36 in points per game, 12.4. And then DB, Minka Fitzpatrick, DB 6. He played 10 games. He was the DB 118 in points per game, 8.4. Talanoa Hufanga was DB 7. He was DB 68 in points per game. These DBs have been sucking it up. 10 points per game. And then Budda Baker, DB 8. He played 11 games. Hufanga played 10. Baker was DB 96 in points per game, 9.1 in 2023. So, gentlemen, from this list, who are you interested in?
Well, we'll say, I mean, all those safeties you mentioned, I mean, there you go. That's why you don't chase defensive backs. I mean,
Hufanga was the DB1 last year.
it's
So
just
close.
He was top 3 or 4, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's right.
Minka was up there though, but I mean, yeah, Minka had a DB ADP, or he was ADP DB 6. Hufanga was DB 7. Budda Baker was DB 8. So all those guys let you down. All those guys were drafted way too high. You had to, draft those guys before the 10th round. Don't do it. Don't do it. We told you not to do it. We've got the results saying not doing it works. Don't do it. It's a waste of a pick. There's way too many more valuable players in that range that have a higher ceiling than these dudes.
Yeah, Hufanga was safety 3 in 2022. So, yeah, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, the overall ADP for these guys should be very suppressed.
And again, there's just too much value late. People just don't realize the amount of value that's there late.
especially when you sprinkle in corners.
Yes.
That goes from linebackers, you maybe have 2 players per team.
And we don't got to start them. We don't got to pick when to
We don't
start them,
have
guys.
to make the start-sit decisions. That's the beautiful part.
So it shouldn't matter. It should not matter. I mean, all the cornerbacks and safeties, they all have pretty much the same
And if you're
ceilings.
like, well, you're talking about best ball, what about rostered leagues? Go read Johnny the Greek's Cornerback Corner. He will tell you exactly who to stream every single week. The dude was 80% accurate on the season for
Yeah.
streaming corners.
And also, we're locked in on corners too, though.
Yeah.
How many corners have we talked about forever? Like, this is like an OG Legarius Need podcast. Every single year
You're on
we have
Alontae Taylor and-
Alontae Taylor, Kenny Moore, Witherspoon, that's their newest boy.
Yes, with him Spoon.
You know?
Devon Witherspoon, if you're
Jalen
new to the
Ramsey
podcast.
when he was in the star role.
We do plenty of cornerback required leagues too. So we're going to, out of the three of us, we're going to uncover some gems.
And I'm going to get one flag plant. It's going to be Kyle Hamilton. So there you go.
Let's go.
I got you covered on the safeties. All right, let's just get a pulse, kind of a pulse check on some of these guys here. Jalen Phillips.
Not for 2024, but I'm still in on, beyond.
Yeah.
Achilles worries me.
Yes,
I hate it so much.
Tempering expectations for sure.
The jersey's closer to him.
Yes. We're in solidarity with
Sure.
Jalen Phillips. We want him to come back to full
But
health.
we understand. Like, we're realistic. We know that we're not going out and spending first for Jalen Phillips
No.
right now. Nope.
Matthew Judon.
Until the wheels fall off, sure. He's proven to be pretty damn elite.
18.8 points per game. DL5 in points per game.
And the year before that was really good, too.
He had those wacky splits where he started the year on fire and and flamed out at the end of the season. I remember that. It was like after Halloween, he turned into a pumpkin.
He had 15.5 sacks in 2022, 12.5 in 2021. So, yeah, that was points per game wise, that was 16 points per game in 2022 and 13.7. So,
There you go.
the year before that.
And I don't think his injury was as bad, was it?
Tore his bicep tendon.
Tore his bicep, yeah. I'm not worried about that
I
as
was
much.
looking
Matthew
that up.
Judon?
Sure.
I mean, yeah. In a world where I have roster Patriots, sure.
It was a bicep. Is that what you said?
Bicep
Good. So
tear.
nothing,
Not bad.
no ACL, no Achilles. He's up there in age.
Here's the one we'll fight about all offseason. Joey Bosa.
Yes, 100%.
No. Bobby?
I'm a Joshy boy.
I'm just tired of it. I'm sick of it. Bobby, we'll start with you on this one.
Everyone is. That's when you get in.
Nick Bolton.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Forever and always.
Big time buy.
Yep, no doubt.
Addy, Quay Walker.
Scared.
Scared?
A little scared.
Tell me about it.
Just worried. I mean, I don't know.
Is it talent or maturity?
Yeah, I worry about both. How good is he? Is he that good? Could we be looking at a Devin White type situation here at some point? I don't know. He hadn't done anything that's like stood out to me. It's like, oh, this guy is elite. He's a stud. Like, we gotta, I'm not worried about him ever. Like, there is still some like, someone wants to come give me like a second. Yeah, get out of here.
I would sell for a second.
Get
for
out
sure.
of here. So I mean, I'm holding. I don't.
Yeah. He's a solid hold.
He's fine.
I'm still very interested in Quay Walker.
And yeah, he could also, his play has improved, I guess.
How many elite sexy linebackers are out there? We've kind of talked about this. There's not a lot.
There's not a lot. No. Right. I mean, yeah. I'm
as far as like young sexy linebackers,
Yeah. Even the young ones are like not sexy yet.
like Jack Campbell,
Right,
Drew
exactly.
Sanders,
Right.
Pretty much all these rookies. A lot of shine off those guys.
let's see here. What do I have him ranked?
And then like a guy like Troy Anderson, right? Mm-hmm. Like what happens? Troy Anderson's healthy. Now you got Bill Belichick in the building potentially.
Oh my God.
That's a nightmare.
I know it's the thing. It's like everyone complained about the Arthur Smith usage. Well, we just got the king of the awful usage in the building now,
Yes.
guys.
Think about Bijan.
Oh my God. It's about to be Algier getting 75%.
Sell your assets, people, because that hire is coming. He's coming in for a second interview. That's going to be announced
Should've
probably this
drafted
weekend.
Jameer.
I still
So-
got Quay Walker as LB10.
Yeah. I'm tempered a little bit, but I'm still very excited about Quay Walker.
I'm probably with Joshy. I'm skeptical, but if the price is right, I would probably.
My pants
buy
aren't
Quay.
on fire for Quay Walker.
Quay's
but I
really
still
young,
like him.
right?
He is 23.7,
Yeah,
so he'll be
that's nice.
24.
Devondre Campbell's probably out the door. Maybe they bring Isaiah McDuffie back. Actually, I
Yeah.
think Campbell has another year on his contract where the dead money outweighs
I think
the
so.
cap savings.
I think
So
so. But
he might be back.
But we've seen situations like we just saw with Shaq Leonard, right? Same thing. Like they did
Just eat it.
They just ate it.
Yep.
And if it gets to a point where like Campbell's being a little weirdo in the locker room, which like the tweets have not
a
been good
little
for him,
weirdo situation. Yeah.
100%. They could get him, get him out of there.
Matt Milano.
What was his injury?
I'm not sure.
It was
Wasn't
a
it-
lot.
it
It was
was-
an ACL and it was like a
Was it meniscus or a PCL?
I feel like it was also like
MCL?
one of the bones too, like
Ooh, fractured fibula maybe.
something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Probably.
It was a lot.
It was not great.
It was a lot.
Not interested.
Yeah, I'm not really interested.
I'm kind of
either.
out. I'd rather just have Terrell Bernard or whoever that second linebacker is.
Hey,
Tyrell
before we
Dodson.
move on, let me ask y'all this one too. Bradley Chubb.
No.
Nope.
Okay. So
Not that
same-
late.
Same here.
Not that
Milano
late.
is going to be 30. He's 29 and a half right now. And yeah, I mean, I also thought Milano had a monster.
He had a fractured leg and a torn ACL in week 5.
Bro, that's awful.
That's not good. But also Milano was kind of floating off like. So 2022, he blew up 15.7 points per game.
He was a little bit of a letdown even before he got hurt.
But that was kind of out of nowhere. That was like, so in 2021, it was 12.1 points per game. In 2020, it was 11.9 points per game. This year, before he got hurt, it was 12.4 points per game. So that's kind of what he is.
Yeah.
He's more
So
like an LB2, LB3.
Yeah, he was 23.8 points the first week, 14.8 week 2, 4.25 week 3, 15.5 week 3 or week 4.
He's a good
So,
tackler. He never really did much in the big play department.
He got hurt in week 5, so he only had 3.75.
Yeah, so I'm probably out on him. Yeah, Dorian Williams actually looked pretty good when he got his
He
shot.
did. He also had 2 picks the first 2 weeks. So keep
Milano.
that in mind. He had 8 tackles and 4 tackles. So interception saved his bacon.
That's what Milano's always done. Milano's
Playmaker.
always been a guy that gets picks.
But coming
Did he
off
so? Really?
that big of
I
an
don't remember
injury,
Yeah, he's really never been a big tackle guy. I think
Milano-
tackle rate's been bad for him.
I was in on him this offseason.
Not again.
I'm out.
Yeah, out.
Minka, all these safeties. I mean,
Out.
No, thank you.
You're out on Minka
I'm out on him.
I mean, we'll see.
because of the ADP or just tired of it?
I just safeties.
Who cares?
I think we've got some nice younger options. I mean,
The best is we've seen the best of Minka.
you look at the points per game. Like when these guys actually played, 8.4 for Minka, 10 for Hufanga, 9.1 for Baker.
And then also look back though, 2022 points per game for Minka, 13.7. That was the best of his career. 11.7 the year before that, 11.3. That's nothing to get like
John
attached
Johnson.
to.
Yeah.
You know, get rid of these guys.
Don't simp for DBs, as Addy likes to say.
Wonder if the
Don't do
Cardinals
it.
could move on from Budda.
I think
I think
he's.
so.
I think he's out.
I think they like could save a lot of money by letting him go. I think they have like a club option for Budda or something. And they owe him a lot if they keep him around. So
Hufanga did an ACL also, didn't he?
yes,
But on top of not doing anything all year. Like he was not
he
good.
wasn't good, and also like the usage was always, he's always a deep safety. He
Yeah.
was living off the big plays. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so he has, it's red. I don't know what that means on Spot Track. If that's, he's owed $19 million if he's on the roster.
What's the
and
dead cap?
3.9 million.
who is this again?
Budda Baker.
He's gone.
Baker, yeah, he gone.
So he gone. He was not cuttable before now because he would have actually cost more to cut. But yeah, he'll be a free agent.
That'll be a good, signing for somebody.
Yeah.
I think he'll be motivated his next stop.
I could be back in on Budda, but the problem is all of these guys are going to cost too much.
Exactly.
And
Everyone likes Budda. It doesn't really matter what that he had.
We just
that
like
he's been.
Budda.
He just had
He's
a few
just
down
fun.
years.
Yeah.
He's really hasn't been that great for like the last couple years.
And that's kind of like we've talked about too. The contract year thing is something that needs to be paid attention to. Very similarly, a guy like Budda has lost his whole career. I feel like that needs to be taken into consideration too, to where it's like Brian Burns just tired of losing. Budda Baker's just tired of losing. It could just be something where he needs a little bit of, reinvigoration, kind of shake things up, get a little different.
All these
Different
DBs
scenery.
that we talked about could have better seasons in 2024.
Because I see Budda to be real similar to like a Kevin Byard. Byard's a little bit
Yes.
older, but I feel like he's probably a little
Veteran,
bit rejuvenated.
Yes.
Yep.
Good locker room presence, always gonna, give it his all. I mean, that's the kind of guy that you want to bank on, but just not at Budda Baker prices.
It's always good to feel wanted when a team comes to get
Yes.
you and brings you in the building.
I get what Jeremy Chin's saying. These people are human beings. This is still a job. If you're not wanted, if you're not being used properly, I wouldn't want to be there either. And unfortunately, these guys don't have an option to just quit their job and go work somewhere else.
It's a contract.
Right? Their rights are owned by that team. They have to suck it up in the media. Otherwise, they create a firestorm for their team and bring all this crap onto their teammates.
If you do
So-
something dumb and try and make a scene, no one else is going to want you.
Nope. You poison the well. Nobody's going to pay you. So you got to shut your mouth and just eat it.
Yep.
So I get it. So, I mean, you notice 2 players we've talked about, Brian Burns and Jeremy Chin, both in similar situations where it's like, I think they're just tired of being on crappy, losing teams. They want to get paid. They want to be used properly. And I think we could see that for both these guys. I really do. So there you go, folks. ADP review looking at values, disappointments, and injured players to see what we thought about the 2023 performance and what we think going forward for 2024. This was a fun exercise, boys. I got a lot out of this.
A lot of fun to look back. Yeah, we had great ADP, man. I'm glad
It
that
was.
we did it. Again, this was out of what, 80 plus?
I think it was 72 or 73 total drafts.
Still, tons of drafts. All these drafts were for money.
Yep.
From like February all the way up
I
until
think the
season.
first one started late January.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So we'll have Evan Ringler on the ADP. We're going to have that automated. So that'll be on the website, available to paid supporters as part of the IDP show draft kit. We might even roll it out sooner because we'll have some drafts rolling before May 1st. So we want to get you all that ADP.
Yeah, if you're doing startups, the dynasty ranks are ready to roll.
Yes,
as
they are.
always.
We act like this is a lot. How much is it to be a paid sub, Josh?
$5 a month. Or you can get it for $50 for the year.
Check
$5
it
a
out.
month.
If you hate it, get out of there. Get the hell
Yeah.
out.
I went to Chick-fil-A the other day by myself.
$15?
$16.
Wow.
It's out of control.
That's nuts.
I could have paid for 3 months of the IDP show.
It's hard to live these days. It really
Yes.
is.
So we want this to be a good value. We've got Adam's best ball rankings coming up here very soon. We have some very exciting announcements coming up next week on the Twitter machine. You do not want to miss it. So make sure you're subscribed over on Twitter. We're going to be making a really fun announcement every single day about some new additions to our team. And you want to be tuned in for that.
We've talked about big tings a lot. This could be the biggest ting we've ever.
The biggest of tings. The biggest of tings.
It's going to be a big deal.
And we've got, like we mentioned, the after show is rolling every other week with Jeff Pomazal. He just had Kyle Bellifuel on to review the 2023 rookies. So looking back at that, we're going to be talking IDP madness on the next episode, Jeff is. And then, we've got DJ Keltown's article is going to be coming, breaking down the best ball drafting strategy. We're going to have some written content rolling out here very soon. We're going to try to make it worth your while to be subscribed over to the IDPshow.com.
You know the other thing, too? Adam, how many best balls do you win?
7.
Okay.
7. I had like 3 second place finishes.
Okay.
I was in
Also, how many of our paid subs won? I know that we had a lot of guys that were paid subs that won. I mean,
yes,
I'd say
a lot of times I would go to comp people subscriptions and I'm already subscribed.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'll just give you an extra year then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Country Boy Swagger might have been a paid supporter. And so he's extended through like he's a lifetime member now, but he was already extended out through like
That's
2026.
Yeah, I mean these are best ball ranks, but honestly these are redraft ranks.
Yes, absolutely.
You want to pick the best players. I'm
Exactly.
going to order the best players there are for you,
Yep. And we'll have the IDP show draft kit rolling out in May with all sorts of rankings in there and breakdowns, sleepers, fades, values, all that kind of stuff. So
Loaded.
just stay tuned, folks. The
So
off season is a lot of fun. And it's a lot of fun because we have like 8 months to kind of tinker and play before the season gets here. So just don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back every week with a new episode of the podcast. We'll have the after show for you every other week and some really exciting announcements next week. So stay tuned. After the break, you are going to hear IDP Bets divisional round with Adam and Johny. So without further ado, gentlemen, take it away.
Good job, Adam. Good luck on this part.
Idiots.
IDP show, IDP show, IDP show.